Good morning, good morning, good morning. You know what today is? It's Monday. I would say Monday morning, but I would say Monday afternoon chat was said. I was unable to do this video this morning because I had to go to court this morning. So I was in court for the whole entire morning, but I'm done. And I'm back home. Thank God I had to go to DC for tax court. And one of the beauties of my job is that I'm able to give back, right? So I get paid to do what I love. And helping low income taxpayers is a lot for me. It means everything to me for me to give my time to help someone that I know cannot afford legal representation, and for me to offer it for free. So that was great. And for my students to experience that, it is amazing. So I've been thinking about what I wanted to share. There's so many different titles. I would say the first one would be the things I've learned from the Daniels Fast and the importance of healthy boundaries. So I've been doing the Daniels Fast consistently since 2015. And when I first started the fast, I could not complete it because I realized that it's a mental thing more than anything, right? And I did it for a few days. I want to say like maybe a week and a half. And I said, I cannot commit to this. It was a lot. And then the second year, 2016, I had a few friends, one of my good girlfriends from law school. She lives in Tennessee. She did it with me, as well as some family members did it. And I completed it. And I was like, wow, like I'm able to accomplish this. This feels good. And I look forward to this. But the thing that I've learned over the years while completing this fast is that I learn something different every time. Because sometimes people will assume, well, you do this every time. You're used to it. But I will say that every time that when I fast, I'm only speaking for myself, as any time that I participate in any type of fast, there's always a different lesson that I get from it. There's always something that, like, wow, I didn't know that I needed this. And I can tell you that every time that I fast, I'm always being tested. Like, I am always being tested by something, someone, just being tested. And I'm like, wow, why can't it be easy, right? Why can't it be easy? And the one thing that I've learned during this time, during the fast, is the importance of self-control. Like, I know that that's important, but really self-control. So the one thing about me is that I celebrate big wins and small wins. And so this past Friday was 10 years since I graduated from law school. And so for me, why not get a celebratory drink? So I went to a Mexican restaurant. And of course, this fast is pretty much like a vegan diet. Sauteed veggies, but they have margaritas, right? They had margaritas, and I love margaritas. I'm a tequila drinker. And it was happy hour. And I was like, I can get one drink. But I didn't do it. There was other things on the menu. And I was like, I can get that. No one doesn't see me. I can get it. I can tell people that I participated in the fast. I can tell people that, hey, I abided by the rules of the fast. Right? I can tell people that, but in my mind and my heart, if I did it, I know that I'm not telling the truth, right? And so the one thing that I've learned is, self-control. It's not so much about what you're doing, but what are you doing when no one's watching, right? What are you doing when no one is watching? If you are committed to something, can you stay on track? Can you do it, right? I'm a professor. I'm a law school professor. One of the things I have to do is to write. And I can tell you that sometimes it gets hard. And I read something that said, is it too hard or does it require consistency? And I realized that some of the things that you want, it may be hard, but it requires consistency. And the one thing I just kept telling myself during this fastest time was that, hey, I got this. This is all a mental thing. But it's self-control. Imagine going to parties. Imagine going around people where it's easy to be enticed, right? You see the things that you know that you once could consume. You see these things in front of you, and you have to make a conscious decision to say no. Even though no one at the place that you got invited to, no one doesn't know that you're fasting. But can you make this temporary fast, can you just say no? And so when I just started looking at my life and realized that, you know what? I really appreciate this fast, because every time I do this fast is always something important. And the one thing that I've learned every time I fast is self-control. But this thing is different about, well, who's watching me? Can I hold my own self accountable even though no one's not watching? All right. I remember going to my best friend's birthday dinner, and everyone kept saying, "Seth, you're not drinking? You don't want a drink? I know you like wine." And I played it off and said, "Oh, it's dry January." All right. It's dry January. Once I said that, no one didn't pressure me, but I just made it so normal and so discreet that you wouldn't know. And, when you are fasting, that's not something that you just boast about, right? It's something that you keep in private. Now, some people that knows me, they know that I fast every time, every year, same time. They know that. And so for those that knew me, it wasn't really a big issue. Like I already know this about Sakina. Like, this is something that she does on a consistent basis. But the self-control. And I've learned that when you have self-control, is that when you master that, you can master anything else. But it's one thing to say, hey, these are the things I want to do, and these are the steps that I need to do to get there. And I'm here to tell you that anytime you're on some type of trajectory for success, there's going to always be ways for you to make a right and make a left when you're supposed to go straight. And sometime when you're on this road and you're on this path, yeah, can you go right? Yeah. Can you go left? Yes. Yeah. Can you go right then go left? Yeah. But just imagine when no one's not looking and you make that right. And even though you may get back on track, you never know that deviation can interfere to you getting somewhere faster when you're supposed to. And so I thought about those things like, yeah, I can get a drink, right? And no one would know. But then I realized with my faith, I would have felt convicted. And that's how I knew that I was growing. Because it's this idea that, okay, I can do this. Like, I can eat the food that I really want. And no one would never know unless I confess it. But I said, in order for me to grow and have self-control, I got to feel convicted when I do something I know it's not right. Like, I had to feel convicted. And so when I'm at these restaurants and I'm like, I know what I usually order. I order some good food. I know what I usually order. And I was like, but it don't feel right. That doesn't feel right, even if I try. And so I challenge you, and something for you to think about is that whatever you're trying to accomplish, I'm pretty sure that self-control comes into play, some shape or some form. And you got to ask yourself, if you're focused and you know what you want, there's going to always be detours. And there's going to always be different outlets for you to go to instead of staying straight. And you got to tell yourself, hey, even though that's there, I know that things that I want for myself is greater, but I just got to keep looking forward. And that's what I did, right? I just kept looking forward, counting the days. I will say that I did not cook as much as I usually do. I found myself ordering out a lot of vegan food. It was good, though. It was good. I think my go-to was a black bean burger from New Vegan. Amazing. And Chipotle. That was like my go-to places. It's hard. And the one thing about like the fast and, just doing certain things and being restricted from doing other things is that it's your choice. You have the decision to say, I don't want to do this anymore. But I found that when you do fast and you complete it, it's so rewarding. It's really rewarding. But the self-control is everything. And so what I got out of the fast was the self-control. not so much about I can master self-control, but it was about making sure the different things, the things that wasn't relevant, right, get in my way, because they were there being tested. People trying to curse you out. I get tested all the time, but knowing how to control that, right? Email. Someone sent me an email that I think wasn't pleasant, and I knew what I wanted to say. And I just said, dear blase, I'm sorry you feel that way. I wish you much success. And I just kept it moving. And I was like, God, that's not me. That is not me at all. I'm a kind person, but I was like, I don't take disrespect. But the way that I said things, it was different. It was different. Definitely different. And so I will say that whenever you're trying to control something, whenever you are trying to accomplish something, to be honest, self-control is important, because it's temptation everywhere. And I found myself, when I was fasting, I found myself not really going any places, just me by myself, going to the mall. I'm a loner anyway. So I'm a loner, and I'm fine with that. So if I want you around, that's because I care about you. I really like your energy. But other than that, I'm a loner. That's just who I am. My cousins will tell you, I can go to events with my cousins, but I will drive by myself so I can leave whenever I want to leave, because I know for me, I get exhausted from being around a lot of people. And so at a certain amount of time, being at an event, I want to go home. I'm like, these people drain me. That's the introvert in me. These people drain me. I have fun. Ha ha ha. Key. And it's time for me to go home so I can look at Netflix. That's like what I get into. Like if I go somewhere to an event, I'm like, okay, these people are draining me. I'm going to go home and I'm going to watch Netflix, because that is everything to me. But the self-control, that was super important, and just mastering that, and just knowing that, hey, the temptation is there. I don't need it. I don't need it. The next thing too, that I want to talk about is boundaries, right? I think that it's important to have healthy boundaries, and to be clear, to let people know, like, hey, this is the access that you had to me. You don't have this access. You don't have this access. And being very clear with that. And sometimes people may not know what your boundaries are, and I think you need to communicate that. So I was trying to figure out a way of how to say this, and hopefully this will help any man or any woman that's watching this, or if you're considered non-binary, whoever, I think this can help as it relates to having healthy boundaries. So everyone that knows me know that, one, I am a diehard Eagles fan. Always been an Eagles fan. Never deviated from my team. The second team that I do like is the Ravens. That's because I live in Baltimore. So it's just like, I respect the home team. I respect the fact that they have a black quarterback. I respect them. But my team is the Eagles, right? My team is the Eagles. So whenever I'm dating a man, they already know the fall season is church and football. It's church and football. And most times when we're together, we're watching a game together. Like, that is just my thing. Either in someone's house or at a sports bar. But I like watching the games. I go to church, get my word in, and I am watching the game. Right? I'm either watching the game with friends or by myself. That is it. Right? That is just my thing. That's just like my Sunday routine. Sometime brunch, maybe we could talk about going out to dinner later, but that's my thing for Sundays, right? Church and football. Football is everything to me, and I don't care who's playing. I want to see the game. Now, sometime if I have court in the morning, I may not watch the late game, like the 8 p.m. games, because I need to get up to get ready for court. But I like football. Like, I love football. Love football. I'm in a football group, right? I'm in a football group where we're all from Philly and we live in a DMV area or Baltimore. So we talk about football. And I have a family group chat where we talk about football. So it's a big deal for me. It's a really big deal. And I am petty. I'm super petty. during football. I don't like the Cowboys at all. Never have, never will like the Cowboys at all. So I'm that type of person. When they lose, I will either create memes or, you know, the internet is undefeated. So why take time to create a meme when the internet has already done it for me, right? So that is me. That's something that I do. But it's fun. It's all love and games, and I don't try to disrespect my friends that are fans of teams that I may dislike. Like, it's all fun and games, right? So I try not to disrespect people. And so when men, if they know me, they know that I like the game. So, you know, sometime, you know, I'll have people reach out to me, you know, maybe it didn't work out or whatnot. If they know that my team is doing very well, I would get a message or a call like, hey, Zach, I know you're watching the game. Much love to your team. Like, you guys are doing the thing. And sometimes it's just simple as that, right? Because we already made it clear, like, hey, this is not going to work. And it's cool. And it could be for various reasons. And every relationship has its time frame, right? It has its term. Sometimes people are meant to be in your life forever, or they're meant to be in your life for a season. I get that. So I received an unexpected message from someone. And the message was about my team, right? Hey, you guys are going to do well, and I wish you well on your game. And I said, thank you so much, right? Kept it short and sweet. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Because I'm not rude, right? I'm not rude. And I said, well, thank you. I appreciate it. And the person was like, you know, I wish I could be watching it with you. I wish I could watch the game with you. I said, well, no, I'm watching this with my friends. And I was watching the game with my friends, and I got a message saying like, hey, I wish we can like hug and cuddle. I said, no. I said, I made it very clear to you that this is not what I want. I said platonic. And I said, this is a platonic relationship. I'm not touchy-feely with my male friends. I don't even hug my male friends the same compared to a man that I'm seeing. It's different. They're going to get a different Sakina. And I said, I hope I made myself clear. And person said yes. And that was important to me to really implement the importance of having healthy boundaries. And the one thing that I've learned is that if you give a person an inch, they will run a mile. And I said, I can't give anybody inches. And I've learned that sometimes when those type of messages come about, I just may ignore it, or I may say, oh, thanks. And I was like, no, if I say, oh, thanks, that's going to give them the button to say, oh, she likes this, and just start sending these similar type of messages. I'm like, no. I can't have that, right? I can't have that. Like, I know the conversations I had with God, and I was like, that ain't it. That is not it. And so I just think that it's important to, you know, the chapters that you want closed, and you know for certain that you want close them. The chapters that you realize like, hey, I didn't like the way this ended. You know, maybe I need to approach this person. I need to say something. If you feel that on your conscience, I would say that. You know, some people say, well, some people don't need closure. All you need is, you know, the disrespect. We're all human beings, and everybody needs something. So some people need closure. Some people need for that person to say exactly what they know this person is going to say. They just need to hear it from people. So you just got to know what you need. Some relationships, some people may need the close. They may need to hear, hey, it's over. They may need to hear those things. And some people, you may say, you know what? This chapter was closed, or I thought it was closed. Maybe there's still some feelings there. Maybe it's something that I need to get off my chest. And I just truly believe that you only have one life. So why not go after the job that you want? Why not go after the person that you really want to be? Why not? And if it doesn't work, at least you can say, hey, I tried. But I do think as it relates to boundaries, there's levels to that, right? So if you know that there's old flames that keep reaching out, hey, shut that shit down and say, hey, we can't do this. We cannot do this. One of my exes already know. Don't call me asking me to go out to dinner. We already made it clear. We already had a conversation how this is not going to work. We actually had a conversation face to face, right? We had a conversation. It's not going to work. I wish you well. Crap, if you get married, I will buy you a nice wedding gift. Like, I told him that to his face. But out of respect for me, he's not reaching out saying, hey, I miss you. Hey, we go out to dinner. I mean, he doesn't even live in my state anymore. Thank God. But we're not doing that, right? And like I told somebody, and I thought about this, like sometime when you have those doors open or they're cracked, do you really create the space for people that's meant to be in your life? And this doesn't have to just relate to romantic relationships, but just all type of relationships, right? If you're going to close the door, close it. Or if you close the door and you realize, hey, I got something else I need to say, go back and try to open that door. Do whatever it takes, but be intentional. Let's say that there is a chapter that's been closed and you really want to say something and you really want to get off your chest and you feel like, hey, I need to say this. I would say go to that person and say, I definitely want to talk to you about this. Or, hey, this is something that's been bothering me. Let's do that. I mean, I rekindle a relationship with a family member. And family's a little different because you have to see them. But my family know, hey, I will cut you off if it's needed. If I feel like there's toxicity, if I feel like you're not doing your part and these are the things that I need, there's boundaries because there's certain access that you don't have to me. Like I told one of my friends, I said, if I'm with somebody and it doesn't work, I'll still be cordial because that's the Christian in me. But you're not going to get the same Sakina. You're not going to have that same access. That's what's called a boundary, right? That's what's called a boundary. No, you can't come to my family functions. No, you can't come to my events. I'm not inviting you to those things. That's a boundary. I look at that as a privilege, having access to me, and you should do the same, right? You should do the same where it comes to boundaries because you don't want people to mistreat you, use you, and abuse you. So when I got that text message, I was like, no. So do I think this person would do this again? I think I made myself clear. I don't think so. But if this person does reach out again and say this crazy stuff, then I'm going to pick up the phone so you can hear my voice because this was a text message. I'm going to be very clear. I think that when you have healthy boundaries in your life, it helps you to have a better life because you have clear intentions on what you want in your life, what you deserve in your life, and who deserves you, right? If you have those clear boundaries in place, you're able to say, hey, this is what I desire. This is what I want. And no, you just can't do this. And no, you just can't do that. That goes with parents. That goes with siblings. That goes with anybody. Like, hey, no. We can't do this. And so the question is, what healthy boundaries do you have in place to ensure that, one, no one's not just treating you any type of way? Because you show people how to treat you. And the one thing that I've learned is I can show people how to treat me. Then I had to take it a step further. I treat myself with love. I treat myself with respect. So if I'm showing people how to treat me, this is how they should treat me because I'm showing them, right? Showing them how to treat me. But then I realized that no matter how much you show people how to treat you, you have to ask yourself, how do they treat themselves? Because if they treat themselves like crap and they don't have boundaries, how do you expect them to treat you how you want to be treated? Even though you are demonstrating it, even though you are giving them the example, if they don't know how to treat themselves, sometimes it may be hard for them to try to treat you a certain way, even though you are showing them. And that's no excuse, but I just know some people, they don't know how to treat themselves. And sometimes and it's mainly because they don't believe they deserve to be treated right. And when you feel like that, you have to dig deep down inside and say, why do I feel this way about myself? Why do I feel this way? I do deserve love. I do deserve attention. I do deserve somebody's time. I do deserve all good things. So it's something for you to think about. And lastly, forgot to add this. I was talking to someone and we were talking about using your spiritual gifts. And one of my spiritual gifts I will say that I have is that I am an empath and I feel. So if it's someone that's real close to me, like we have a good close connection, I can tell or feel when something's off. And I'm the type of person where I'm not going to say, I'm trying to make sure I don't say this. Hey, if you need me, I'm here. If you need someone to talk to, I'm here. I just rather just pick up the phone and say, hey, you were on my mind. I hope that you're well. And because of the spiritual gift of being an empath and really feeling, and throughout the years, I found that people find comfort in talking to me. And one of the things is everything is confidential. You don't have to worry about me sharing your information to someone. And that's something that I learned in law school. I know how to keep a secret, right? So let's say my client comes to me and say, hey, I killed somebody. Depending on what side I'm on, that is protected. And I found that people find that because I create that space. And the one thing that I've learned in some of my male friends, and when I say that you are my male friend, I don't want that person. I make that clear. We are friends. You get the church hug, right? You can't just come over. We hanging out in public places, right? Those my male friends. And I mean it, we were talking, I was just talking to different friends. And the one thing I've learned and the one thing I know for certain is that to never weaponize someone's vulnerability. When people confide in you about something, they trust you. And you just want to make sure that you don't use it against them. That is my non-negotiable, with friendships. And if I tell you something, I'm in a vulnerable state and you use it against me, you can never have access to me. There's no returning from that. Because it takes a lot for me to confide into someone. So once I look at you as someone that I trust and you use it against me, that is it. And the one thing that I pray for everybody, that you don't weaponize someone's vulnerability, because someone trusts you to tell you their feelings and their thoughts, and they trust you. So you just want to make sure that you handle people with care. And so if I lead this talk, I would say handle people with care and place them where they need to be in your life. Everybody doesn't deserve a front row seat in your life. They just don't. So you need to know who are your cheerleaders, right? You want the cheerleader that's going to be up front. But those cheerleaders need to also hold you accountable. They need to also hold you accountable to make sure that, the fast, the one thing about the fast is that, I learned about self-control, but it was more so holding myself accountable and feeling convicted, even if I just thought about something like, hey, I do want a glass of wine. And I was like, crap, I can't do it. And I didn't, right? I couldn't do it. And so who's that person that's holding you accountable? And when you by yourself and you tell yourself, hey, I ain't going to do this. Oh, I ain't going to do this no more. I'm not going to do X, Y, and Z, whatever it is. Do you feel convicted? Just the thought of it, right? Or just thinking about, do you feel convicted? And if so, that means that there's some changes going on with it. Scared me because that was my phone. You should feel convicted. But that's all that I have to say. It is Monday, so I would like to shout out to all the dope men out there. You are amazing. You are great. You are phenomenal. And just know that you can accomplish anything that you want. You are worthy. You are awesome. You are smart. You are spectacular. And I hope that people are telling you these things on a consistent basis because you need to hear it. Oh, my man crush every day is Jalen Hurts. He's awesome. He's dope. He's the Eagles quarterback. He's amazing. So that is my man crush every day. That is my man crush. That is all. Have a great Monday. Have a great week. And just never forget, for anybody, that you're so dope and you're just so amazing. That's all. Take care.